All right. Let me bring on our next speaker. Hilton, are you in the building? All right, Hilton is in the building, speaking to us on the growth will. Hilton? Okay, he's just busy preparing himself. All right, while he gets ready, Kupabana by show fans, how many of you are having fun, are learning something? Is this worth it? Eh? Or CP in the foot? We should have more of these sessions, yeah? All right. Fantastic. If you say so, we'll do it for you. This is for you. All right? Okay, so we're going to have a facilitation session taking place between Hilton and Bulelani Balabala, so please do enjoy it. Let's put our hands together. Let's show them some love as they facilitate the session on product development. Gentlemen, over to you.
I just told him that we're going to have a dialogue. And he's always ready. And I figure that's what's being an entrepreneur or business owner, what's all about. Yeah. Just ready.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everybody. Are you guys all right? Yeah, thank you so much for coming here. And I really just hope that the day is going to be value added. And shout out to all the pitches. But I think before we sort of jump into the conversation, I think one of the things that you sort of pick up as we traveled across the country, you know, in the past couple of years, we just haven't done it this year because of COVID-19. So we decided to stick to one venue and just do hybrid. So we stream it live. But one of the key themes that you sort of pick up as you move along is that there's no shortage of entrepreneurs who lack the ability to create products. They might not necessarily be the best looking products to them at the point in time. They might not necessarily be compliant. They might not necessarily meet regulatory standards and the sort. But one of the things that we don't have in shortage is amazing entrepreneurs who've got skin in the game. So I think it's an us thing that we go out and we start and we put stuff together. But I think some sort of sub-composites that become a bit of a challenge is, I guess, the sort of route to market. You know, how do I sort of package this in the right manner? How do I sort of market it in the right sort of way? And I think this particular engagement is purely in and around that, right? How do you take this product and you move it forward? But I think also, just further to that, it's a conversation in and around how do you also then productize your service business? Because we've often looked at productization from an actual tangible product. But I think when you're able to break through the news and you start productizing your services as well, you create an opportunity for a array of clients, different LSMs, different earning brackets for them to consume your product. And I think before I give an opportunity to Hilton to introduce himself, then we'll just have a chat and open up to the floor. I think just you sort of pin this thought, right, around a service-based business that was able to productize themselves. I mean, in the simple case would be a bank, right? So you get your student card, you get you get your black card, you get your private wealth, you get your gold card, you get your so on and so forth. At the crux of that whole thing, they provide the same service for everyone. But them sort of being able to segment the various aspects of the market created an opportunity for them to be able to group the market, for them to be able to service that market, and then for them to be able to create third-party beneficiation. And what do I mean by that? So if you have a certain particular card, you can earn benefits when you purchase at a particular store. When you have a particular card, you are able to spend time at the slow lounge at the airport before you catch a flight, and so on and so forth. So if you pour fuel at a particular fuel station, you earn points. And that's what then productizing allows you to be able to do. But the most beautiful thing as well is that being able to also then productize your service, right, without going deep into it, also then allows you the opportunity to then track where the money is actually coming from and where the money is actually going, so that you can then sort of then map out what products do you then need to focus on the most and which ones do you then need to then cancel out. The narrative of more is much is an elusive conversation, especially when you talk about products and the market, because the market sort of then dictates which product it wants to consume and which product should be actually be appropriated for what. You know, you sort of look at the brands like your Lecoq, for instance. You know, its sort of rise and dominance in the market almost happened by mistake. You know, and it's a variety of other brands as well that sort of came up because the market was the determinant of what that brand should actually be, because the market is the consumer of the product. And I think in lining it with the pitching session, so the reason why we sort of do the pitching session is that in real life value, you're going to have to pitch because sales is the lifeline of every business. But I think above that, it's to give you a clear sense that you might look at your brand and your product and sort of amp yourself up and tell yourself that your brand and your product is the right? But at the end of the day, it's the market that determines, because it's the market that consumes the product, which is why the constant practice of the right thing allows you to open up the market and gives yourself the opportunity to grow your brand. But I think my last point is this before I engage Hilton. It's sort of a learn fast, fail fast sort of approach. And I think if one of the key thing and quick things that I sort of want us to leave with today is, and there's a lot of many and amazing things that you're going to learn, right? But this we live now. You can watch this today, tomorrow, and the sort. It's sort of a learn fast, fail fast. And oftentimes we stifle the speed at which we learn, because some of the ideas that we come up with must be optimized or taken advantage of, you know, in the immediate moment that you sort of come up with it. But I think some of the things that throttle our thinking is thinking that it needs to be perfect, it needs to wait for certain things that are external. And you look at that from a point where you sort of understand that underpinned by the fact that success favors the brave, it becomes intrinsic for you to sort of put it out there as prudent as possible, because the narrative that says that there are perfect products, there's no perfect product. I mean, look at the phone that you have in your hand right now, you know, from the cars that are outside. I mean, how many of these cars are bursting up in flames, burning? How many of them have got mechanical damage? You know, how many of times do we buy outfits but you find that the button's missing? So if we spend time trying to build up the perfect product, then chances are you might not necessarily even build up the perfect product. But if we then go by a learn fast, fail fast approach, now this is just my opinion, you don't have to take it. A learn fast, fail fast approach, it then quickens the rate at which you build up a formidable brand. And then as you sort of take on the learn fast, fail fast approach, it then solidifies your pitch. Because you would have put your pitch to a large amount or an extensive amount of different investors, different individuals at different tiers of life, and it gives you the opportunity to then start developing the perfect pitch for that product and for that service. So with all that being said, and we're going to say a couple more. So the format of this engagement is, I'm going to give him the platform to introduce himself. I'm going to ask him a couple of questions, and then we're going to open up the platform to everyone who's here to just engage, because I think that's the sole premise of why we are here. Because I think if you wanted to learn about this, you could have watched it on YouTube, but you are here purely because there are questions that you're going to have, and the whole premise of this is for us to sort of engage so that you walk away, you know, with questions answered, you know. So let me give this opportunity to just introduce yourself, and that we'll jump into the conversation.
I'm from here, from this province, and I'm from this country, and I'm from this continent. You've heard my name a few times. Go at Growth Wheel on social media and you find out a little bit what we do. But as you were talking about loyalty cards, I was thinking about our funeral guy. Where is he? Where's our funeral guy? You know, did you know that you can start a loyalty program now with your business? Did you listen what he was saying? Right? Who here, I'm like, all of us are under 25. That includes me. Who of you have written down how that party should look like. Because a funeral, in many ways, is a celebration of life, right? So do you think that you should be a member of his business? And you have a little thing that describes exactly, what should happen that Saturday, when everyone celebrates your life. So you see, right now you can start making 10 Rand a month from everyone here. And then, of course, you can add on that. What's that guy's name? Dube sells that little package on TV. Yes, what's that? Clientele. Yes. Then you go to him, and you say to him that you have 10,000 people under 25 years old that have given you a little thing that says exactly what music they must play, right? And what they must say and what they must dress. And you can then sell his little funeral package to your members, and you can earn 20%, right? Because you then turn your business around from being, getting money when somebody selects you and passes away, from earning predictable income, annuity income, way before someone passes away. So do you understand when he says that when we think about our product and our service, that it goes beyond just, the top that I buy, right? Because I could also, did you know, for example, right? People are no longer buying clothing, they're renting clothing, right? Do you know the size of that business globally, in dollar terms, anyone? I think I would like to rent this one next week. It's a really cool outfit. Anyone want to take a pick at it? About $40 billion of people renting other people's clothing. Is there a clothing rental place in Tembisa? Right? Is there an opportunity for you to do that? Right? So when you think about product and service, think beyond walking in a store like I saw everyone has drip shoes, and I thought I'll also get a pair, but I might have to be a waiter. But imagine, you can rent your drip shoe and you can exchange it every time. Because there's a second-hand market for clothing. Huge, right? So those are the kind of things that we have to think about product and service, that it's not just selling something, right? And then getting that 5%. Because, if you sell your tops, for example, in fact, I saw outside somebody had really cool t-shirts, is that you've got to go to scale them. Like, it's a very competitive thing, right? In order for you to make good margin with certain products, is that you've got to sell plenty of them, right? In some cases, you have a product, like I waited 4 years to get a cap like this. This is now mine. 4 years I've had to wait for this. Is that it's your product so difficult to get access to, right? That people will say that's expensive if they really want it. So everyone wants a Formula One car or a Ferrari. Am I correct? But is it you can just go around a corner and get it? No, it's at a premium level. So sometimes you also have to think about your product and your service, who your customer is, right? For example, my product is accessible to any one of you. You can get access to it for free, but you're not my customers. You're the users. My customers are business advisors, people that help businesses grow around the world in 69 countries. And they pay a premium, right, for my product. So you have to think about those kind of things when you think about your product. So I just wanted to add to that little bit, to what he was saying early on. Township township in the context of South Africa means many, many things, right? But has anyone seen a picture of Shanghai? Do you know where Shanghai is? Anyone? Yes, where is Shanghai? In China. And you just see lights and it's big, right? It's one of the world's most expensive cities. There's about 30 odd million people that live in it. Did you know that Shanghai was a township? Right? In China, they have a program that they launched 30 years ago called the Township and Rural Industrial Program, right? 90% of China was rural, like a farm, and it was township. So when we think about where we are today in terms of our locations, we have to think about many other things, right? And I think it's that foresight around your product and your service, right, is, and let me just make another example on that. Did you know that 60% of the 1.2 billion people in Africa is under 35 years old? Did you know that? Right? 60% of the African population is youth. That's why I'm still 17. But did you know by 2050, there'll be 2.5 billion people on the African continent? We'll be the biggest market in the world. I started my business about 30 odd years ago. I'm still 17 years old. And if I think about you guys, I wish that I had an opportunity like this, you know, to engage with people about what the future will look like. Because is anyone here starting a business to retire next week? Right? Someone was saying you're building a legacy business, right? And so you have to think about your product and your service and the longevity of that, right? I'm like the guy that won, the gin guy. I always thought he should make the gin and tea mix. So gin stands for Growthville Inclusive Network. In South Africa, we have about 350 plus partners, incubators, accelerators, hubs, etc., that uses our framework for business advisory, with about 30,000 small businesses and startups throughout South Africa, mostly townships, right? Or what I'd like to call low wealth communities. I come from one. So I always wanted an association with tea. So the gin guy, if you can make gin and tea, that would really be nice. There we go. You make gin and tea, that's a product. I'm telling you it's going to sell well. Every time he has an event like this, then your product will be there. We'll accept some royalties for that. So we exist because, the common framework over the last 40 odd years for a business was known as a business plan. Who of you have created a business plan? There's one hand, two hands, 3, 4, 5, 6. The business plan is broken. And it's been broken for many years. Most successful entrepreneurs did not start their business with a business plan, because your customers don't buy from your business plan. When they ask for service, you don't regooi at them your business plan and say, this is how you give them the customer experience. And so we've created a framework for business advisors to use with business owners. Who of you woke up this morning with new ideas or new ideas for your product? Who? You woke up this morning and your head was just spinning. Like, today I'm going to win this thing, or I'm going to come here, I'm going to network with someone, right? So entrepreneurs wake up, or business owners wake up every morning with new ideas, right? Thousands of things going through your mind, right? And then you set ambitions. Who here has set an ambition today? When you, like, I'm coming here and I have an ambition. Did you set an ambition? There's only 3 or 4. Business is very intentional, right? And so I woke up this morning with an ambition to have a conversation with and sit on the same stage as him. He's been a goal for me. He's been an ambition for me to sit and talk next to him. And so I made a decision on that ambition, right? And the decision was that I'll be here in time, and I want to wear one of these. And one of my other ambitions was I have to make sure that I sit next to him on the same platform, right? With a cap. They didn't have the size T-shirt. Otherwise, I'd have had the T-shirt as well. And so I took action when I arrived. I made sure that even though he was not supposed to sit next to me, that was not the program, that I will take action and pull him, and he can sit. So what was my outcome that I achieved today? Did you see that? I had an idea. I then defined what my ambition is for that idea, right? Then I made decisions, yeah? And then I took action, and my outcome is that the two of us are on the same stage. So throughout your entire business and product cycle, you must always define what the ambition is for your product, for your customer experience, for your revenue, you know, for anything, for your branding, and then decide, right, what you want to do around those things, and then take action, and then measure those outcomes. Who can agree that entrepreneurship and owning a business is extremely lonely? There's more hands on that one. How many times have you felt lonely? Too many times. So here's a difficult question for you. Do you have a business advisor?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
You have multiple?
2.
You have 2.
Yeah.
Do you have leadership coaches?
No.
Right. Do you have mentors?
Yes.
Yes. You have an accountant?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Do you have a legal guy?
Yeah, definitely.
Right. When you started T, did you have somebody that wouldn't necessarily come here but like what you do and spoke to other people about it? So like an ambassador.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's majority of the people in the room.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, did you have somebody that went out when you were crying by yourself that you don't have customers, that went out and sold tea as a value proposition for others to sponsor? Other than you doing the selling.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess maybe those would be some of the people that would have bought into what you're doing.
What you like. So I mentioned 7 things, right? So the first thing is what we know over the last 30, 40 odd years, maybe 100 years, is that a business grows faster and are sustained longer when you have a number of business advisors that support you. So who of you have a business advisor? There's one guy. And there's someone at the back there, right? And there's someone there, great. You should just keep your hand up. You got a yes for everything. That's great. Who has leadership behavioral coaches? I think you've got either you just gooi like that every day, or you have somebody, you have a fashion coach. So do you have who here has coaches that help them around, you know, your behavior as a business owner? Oh, there we go. There's a couple there. Who has mentors? right? Those three things are extremely critical in your mix as a business owner, right? Because, you know, we constantly have chats and we engage with one another as entrepreneurs. In fact, the most collaborative ecosystem around the world and profession is business owners. We have 800 million businesses around the world. So it tells you that you as a business owner are more critical for society than government.
But now I want to jump in here.
Okay.
Because I know that for a number of years, I personally consistently got the differentiation between the coach, the mentor, the sponsor, the business advisor, confused, right? And I guess maybe to a degree that might have affected the relationship output to some of my mentors, because it's like, why aren't you doing the things?
Yeah.
What is the difference? Maybe just underpin. I don't know. Other people in here who have got who just want that understanding? Maybe take us through what the difference is. What is the difference between their business advisor or a mentor or a coach, sponsor, you know, the
Yes.
sort?
So I'm going to ask one or three people to also contribute to that.
Sure.
And then I'll add into that. So, you have a business advisor. So what is your definition of a business advisor?
A business advisor, from my perspective, from what I've experienced, is somebody who has actually gone before you, who you can go to when you encounter hurdles in your business, because you are further back. In a sense, they do kind of function as a mentor. However, they've got a more strategic role in your business because of the fact that they are not emotionally attached to what you are doing. They're looking at it from an objective point of view. So somebody who's willing and able to give you advice on how to overcome obstacles, I say.
You have a business advisor, right? Do you pay him? You don't pay him. Okay. Who had a coach? Who had a coach? Who had a coach? I think somewhere here I saw a couple of hands. Somebody said that they had a coach. Here? Who had a coach? Yes. So what's your definition of a coach and your experience of a coach?
Hi, everyone. Okay, my name is Siyabonga Mthembu. My definition of a coach is someone who assists you and challenge you not to underperform when you do business. And most of the time, coaches, they lead you into making right decisions. They're not actually telling you what to do, but they kind of like point you into a right direction and kind of like move you from your comfort zone, because sometimes you can push a business and get to a point where you feel like you have made it. But when a coach is good, it's someone who can say, you have moved from 1 to 2, you can get to 10, and then they challenge you to move towards that direction.
Do you pay your coach? Yes. You do pay your coach? How much do you pay them? 500 Rand? Per session? Cool. Who has mentors? Someone said here that they had mentors. Yeah, okay.
Okay, hi guys, my name is Sandu Mahlangu. Well, for me, based on my experience, a mentor for me, it's someone who basically takes you through everything, every process of your business. They're also an advisor in what you should do and how you should do it. They somehow challenge you in the things that you should be doing, like in your business. My mentor brings ideas to me, tells me what to do and all that. They basically taking me through every step of the way of my business.
Do you pay your mentor? So globally, like I've always had mentors, and so I have all kinds of mentors. One of my mentors helped me to try smoking. Stop smoking, rather, not try to smoke. Stop smoking. And so mentors generally are people that have gained experiences and are happy to share that, because that's how much, so you get career mentors, you know. When you get into a new business, there's somebody that's in the senior level and you're starting there. And so they can share with you their journey up to a certain point, right? So there might be disciplines in that mentor's career path or business owner path that the only thing that he can share with you is his own experience. And so mentors generally don't charge. And so I would suggest to anyone to have as minimum 5 mentors. And you must decide what type of mentors you want, right? Because mentors help you with your strengths and your weaknesses, right? As you grow your businesses, but also it's useless if you're really good, right, at running 100 meters, right? And your ambition is to run 200 meters. Don't get a mentor that's only run 100 meters for 1,000 years and have never gone to 200 meters. So a mentor, as you say, has always gone a little bit further in the experience. But if you have a mentor, what business do you have? A boutique? Beauty business, right? Don't get a chef to be your mentor, right? So get mentors specifically around your industry, okay? If you want to be a singer, right? Don't get a pastor to be your mentor because he knows nothing about singing, right? Does that help you? On the one side? Just on the mentor side, we coming along.
No, it kind of helps me, but I want to challenge that thinking a bit, right? So how I've always viewed, because we sort of parked here for a little bit. So when I sort of go into this mentor-mentee relationship, is it specific? Should I be getting people who are industry specific as opposed to people who've got specialities and strengths in the key discipline or the key elements of business that I am missing those key competencies? So in this case, maybe I'm a singer, but the key competencies of being an amazing and powerful singer is that I need people who are not in the same discipline, but I need to be able to, in order for me to strengthen the whole entire chain, I need certain key competencies, and those people might not be in the same industry as me, because I mean, I sort of look at my engagements, my relationship with some of my mentors. They not in the branding, they're not in the skills development, ESD space. But I think it's always been the conversation in and around the consistent why and how. Right. Why and how. So that sort of cross-pollination I sort of found to be beneficial. Is that what you're speaking against?
So we had a poet here, and maybe she's a singer. It sounded like she could also be a singer. Around her, even though she's just one person now, but if you look at a successful singer, there's a minimum of 17 practices and specialists around a singer that makes them produce an experience that we all like. So you will find within the principle of a singer is that the singer knows nothing about choosing the right mic. But if you go to the singer as a mentor, she will tell you that I spoke to that sound guy and he was my mentor, that I had a bad mic, right? And he chose me, he helped me, he mentored me to get a great mic. So you then add onto your mentorship, right? You then add onto your mentorship the other discipline, because it's complex. It's never one thing, right? But if you go to a mechanic and he doesn't sing, right? He can tell you, though, you must have a great car to get you to the stage in time. Right? So it is complex. It's you know, you have mentors that have walked a journey about building 5 businesses, right? Multiple businesses at the same time. And so you are side hustling, and so you want to then talk to that guy about his experience. about hustling 5 businesses. We know what is the mentor is going to do? He's going to have that conversation, and then he's going to say to you, hey, my next appointment, I've got to run my business, and I go. He's never going to ask you, did you apply what we spoke about? Right? The very other critical thing with the mentee-mentor relationship is that once you've listened to him and you've gone and have applied it, the next time when you see him, you must share back because he's not charging you. Because you would have improved on his service, on his experience. So if you spoke to a couple of mentors that runs 100 meters, and now you've gone and run 200, then you change that role and you become the mentor to that mentee. Now, a behavioral coach, people call it business coaching, right? There's a thin line if you listen to what everyone's definition is. There's a thin line between mentors, coaches, and business advisors. It almost sounded like the same, right? Often you get a really good guy, like Buya, that can play all 3 roles. And the reason for that is that in his 40-year being a business owner, was it 50 years, is that he's had the opportunity to play those different roles and different experiences. But a behavioral coach, right, would then guide you on a number of things, right? So we get an opportunity to pitch at an event, and so we come along with our whole posse, all our friends comes along, and we look a specific way, and we talk a specific way, right? So we come with our kind of homegrown stuff, right? The way that we normally would work and have fun and social, and we come with that to the stage. A coach will tell you that, A, you need to be organized, you need to be professional, right? You need to be resourceful, and a number of other things, right? Maybe the way you dress, right? Maybe the way you think, your emotions. This thing called owning a business is extremely, extremely emotional. And sometimes you go to a customer, and then as you sit with that customer, somebody calls and they have a complaint or something happened. What does that do? It brings out emotions. So what does a coach do for you? Right? Your coach helps you with fitting in this little box called professionalism, managing your emotions. They say that most successful entrepreneurs have a habit of doing things. So they wake up at 5, they do 20 or 50 push-ups. You can see that I don't do it anymore. They go and run, they read, they plan. In fact, before they go sleep, who wakes up with him at 4 a.m. to get shit done? Right? That's something that a coach kind of tell you why you do those things. When you employ people, there's going to be a certain characteristic, a leadership characteristic that you need to have, right? Because you are going to go on holiday, and your business is going to continue without you. And so you need business processes and all kinds of managerial cultures that you need to put in place in your business. And this is where a business coach, again, will help you with those kind of things. Did you get the difference?
Yeah, I got the difference. But now tell me this, right? So there are various stages of sort of mapping out your sort of product development journey.
Right.
Ideation, monetization, so we've got all of them. In certain instances, 5, in certain instances, 7. But I think for the benefit of today's conversation, we'll sort of just, I think, between you and Marang, sort of underpin the 7 various steps.
Yeah.
Right? But because now I'm this entrepreneur who's got this insatiable hunger, and I've got consistent ideas, how do I pick out which one is the one I need to go with. Because today, I want to sell a magwinya,
Yeah.
and then I go out with my boys, and then I see that, you know, the latest trending thing is 1, 2, 3. Now I'm thinking of going to Joburg and buying that stuff and reselling.
Right.
And then when I drive back, I'm thinking, nah, man, you know, I'm a venture ekasi. They probably need
Yes.
the wheel caps. My friend's uncle's got wheel
Yeah.
caps in the garage. So there's this explosion of ideas, right?
Right.
How do I sort of unpack these ideas? And then I think through the process of iteration, start to cancel out the ones that are not, I don't know, meant to be, or is there such a thing as meant to be?
Well, that actually leads us perfect into the role of a business advisor, right? Yes, we are all hustling, right? And sometimes we don't know what is it that we should do or would want to do. I think Maureen is going to cover that very nicely. I'm not going to cover that at all. I'm going to focus on the question, which is the mentor, the coach, and the business advisor. The business advisor will get you focused, right? That hustling ambition has got everything to do with profitability, right? You want to make money. That's why we're in business, right? And so critical in your product is two things. Why are you doing it? And this is a question that, that came out earlier. Why are you doing it, right? And most importantly, what is your customer's experience? The reason why successful businesses grow is because the customers always come first, right? Who do you think is the greatest businessman of all time in the world? Steve Jobs, right? Actually, he's not around. He comes on the 25th of December. His name is Santa Claus. He doesn't create a single product, right? But he's enabled an entire ecosystem of creators, right? And manufacturers and service providers. And what do? When you think about Santa Claus, everyone here had what on their face? A smile, delight, right? So sometimes you have to think about all these ideas that you have. Is that how do you become a Santa Claus, right? That there's people that are better at narrating a poem. I write poems, they're 3 lines, but I can't present them. So I then find somebody to do that, right? So there's one way of doing that, but a business advisor would ask you, so there's this customer delight, I see the reason why, but you're making money, right? And so a business advisor will ask you, here you have 500 chickens, right? Every Friday you go to the market with 500 chickens. You sell 300, you come back. But your production is of such a nature that every week you produce 500 new chickens. So you sold 300 last week, you come back with 200. How many do you go back with next week? 700 chickens, isn't it? Right? What happened with the 200 chickens? Your margin reduced. Why did your margin reduce? Yes, you had to feed that chicken, you had to keep it alive, right? So your costs then increase and your margin is lower. For you, it's 700 chickens. But a business advisor would then ask you, okay, so you went with that 700, yeah? And we're coming to the product mix outcome. Is why don't you take that 200 and cut them up and freeze them? What did the business advisor suggest to you? That you maintain your margin and reduce your losses, right? Did you get that? So if I cut up the chicken, the 200, I don't have to electricity, I don't have to feed them, there's no staff on those 200 chickens. So next week, what do I go to the market with? 500 live chickens and 200 frozen chickens, right? And what did I do? I maintained my margin. And a business advisor would advise you on that. So next week, you come back, and then you say to your advisor, I got 500 live chickens. I have now left, I sold 400, and I've got 100 more chickens that I had to cut up. But out of the frozen chickens, I only sold 50 packs. Okay? How many frozen chickens do you have now? Sorry? You obviously have a little bit more, right? But what happens with that frozen chickens that you couldn't sell? At some point, they turn blue. At some point, you have to put electricity to keep them in the fridge. You have to buy another fridge. What happens to your margin? It reduces. So the business advisor would say to you, wouldn't it be great if you have chickens that's alive, that people can buy that? There's people that want frozen chicken. And since you're at the market, why don't you do a Sichinyama chicken? Nando's, you buy those ones that you couldn't sell. Okay? And then you then consider the experience that the customer gets, right? With a chicken that they can just pick up and go home and feed the family. And then you'll find that your margin might grow up. There's a live chicken for 25 Rand. Or 25 Rand. There's a frozen one for 35 Rand. And there's a braai chicken for 75 Rand. Your product mix, and this is where your business advisor will always maintain with why did you start the business? What experience is your customer getting? Okay? And then, are you making margin? Because we exist for profitability and sustainability, right? The other reason why we exist is for loyal customers. If you have customers that come and they take the live chicken, right? And so tonight there's church, but the kids have to eat. Then, and I can't clean the chicken. Then I take a frozen chicken. So what did I do to my customer? I gave him options, isn't it? Right? And so he takes that home, get dressed, go to church. They can make the chicken, right? I had a good day. I had a really good day at the office. I'm not going to spend time cleaning a chicken and, take the feathers out. I'm not going to have time for my kids to go and everyone's kind of is there and we make the chicken. What I want for us is to sit outside, open it up, and just have fun in eating the chicken, right? And so that's how you build customer loyalty, right? If you think back to your loyalty program, my friend, that you can start now, is that everyone here can pay 10 Rand, knowing that should that day arrive, the way that they want people to enjoy them is in your vault, right? And they'll constantly come up with new ideas and pay you for change to update that little program for the day, right? You see? And so you earn money before they actually go, but you sustain your profitability and the loyal customer while they're alive. Okay? And so you've got to find then, how do you make that very difficult for someone else to replicate? Everyone these days is a mixologist. They buy a Coke, and they buy some rum, and they put some ice in, and that's a mix. So it's very difficult for our winner to do something very difficult. And so he said he's going to make something with gin. Where is he? Yes, right? Very difficult to do, right? So you also have to find, for the guy that did the branding, where's the tops, where is he, right? it's a very replicable business, right? Yes, you would have a different brand name, right? You would place things differently, but there's stuff that you have to do unique. So if you think, for example, what's the jeans guy? What's the famous jeans guy in South Africa? There we go, right? You talk about jeans, and then you say Chepo. What does Chepo now mean for us? That jeans, isn't it? Okay. So it's very difficult to replicate. So a business advisor, right, will ask you those very difficult, it will keep you focused, right? But they will also go around the 20 focus areas within the business, right? So if you think about your idea, I have an idea, this is my product. Then I have a product mix, so I'm selling chickens, and I'm selling 3 types of chickens, right? Then there's a revenue model, I'm selling cash, or people can pay me whenever they want, right? Your customer segment is very important, right? Not everyone is your customers. There's 60 million South Africans. 23 million is unemployed. They live on $1 or less than $1 a day. So that's like 14, 15 rand a day. The social grant. We have 15 million people that work. There's 74% unemployed youth in the country. So who's your customers? So you've got to be very specific about your customer segment. And a business advisor will keep you accountable for that. Any successful business runs because the business owner has defined the processes for that business to be successful. Can I say that again? Your business is successful when you're not there. Okay? So I sit with him quite a bit, and everything that you see here is extremely well planned. Everything has a logic behind it. In fact, we spoke last night, and the team wanted to leave. I think it was somewhere around 2:07 or somewhere around there. And it's like, guys, I know you want to go, but there's something, right? So every business is successful because of business processes. Businesses fail for 2 reasons. 2 reasons. They don't have a handle on their finances, right? There's a difference between your life and your business. And yes, there's a thin line, the same way that there's business advisory, mentorship. Your business money goes into your business. If you borrow money to it, it's a director's loan, you can get it back. Okay. So your business advisor will keep you accountable for that. Then the other one is legal. You must have a legal. It's clientele also have that, isn't it? 17 rand a month or something. Very cheap. Yeah, lawyers are not expensive, it's 17 rand. Okay, so if you don't want to fail in your business, those are the 5 things for me that's critical. I had a great experience when I had an ambassador, somebody that liked my hair and said, oh, and you sell a good product? And so that person is not a customer. Do I have it in front?
Do you have a?
Do you have this in front? Yeah, okay. I just wanted to look good for the camera. As you find somebody that's not your customer, but they get into spaces where you will never be. They either sit with the minister, or they sit in the church and they're very close to the preacher, or they somewhere else, right? But they will always say, that guy makes mixes, right? I've never tasted it, but when I've seen some people have it, I can see the experience. Why didn't you call him and get him for your next party, right? And this guy doesn't even drink, right? But then you have the other guy. He's a mover and shaker. He's always here at Sims's bar. He looks the gap, and so you give him, the top, and he wears it. And you say, I got this for 50 bucks. But if you get it from me, you can get it 45 bucks, right? You sell it to him for 40 rand. Why? Because you are busy working in your business, making these things, and you want somebody else to be out there. So find as many as possible guys with the gift of the gab, right? That's what we call them, right? They are places where you will never go, and they forever selling something, right? When who here has more than 5 businesses that they're trying to build? you know, like a construction company, and then a catering company, and then a clothing company, and then a party company, and then what else is there? Professional services company, like all of that. No one knows what you're selling. It's like, okay, so when are you selling construction? Tuesdays, okay. Yes. Look, I think today, in fact, we do know, during this pandemic, that 30% of employed South Africans, right? Employed South Africans have side hustles, right? And so that happens, right? Who works here for someone? Who has a job? You work for someone, and then you have a side hustle. What does your family know you as? How do you make your money? There we go, right? So it works, right? But they know you for that. What do you know him for? For tea. And there's a difference, slight thin difference between that, right? I have multiple businesses, but people know me for Growthville. So it's also important to know that customers become your loyal customers because they put their trust in you. What does the trust represent? Money. Okay. So when they give it to you, they know they're going to get a great experience. And so also, you know, Bidvest is a company with multiple interests. Big boys, they do that. It comes over time, right? But in your customer focus areas and loyal customers, make sure that people can see you for that difference. But a business advisor will help you with that. Now, all of those things is very important as you have a product, as you kind of evolve into product mixes, as you define what your revenue model is for those products, different products, as you define who your customer segments are, right? And just an example, I know you have an opinion. Yes, do you want a house? I'll build you the house, right? So now I'm finished with the house. Do you want furniture? Yes, I can give you the furniture. Do you need a husband? Oh, I can give you a husband. You don't want to be everything. Be good at one thing so that people remember who you are and can refer you to someone else. Find that other guy to be everything that they want to be, and you can sell to them. So in closing, there's something called business to business, where I sell to someone else, and they will sell my product and use my product. And then there's business to consumer, which is where I sell my product to the guy, to the end user that just got his checkbook or his check or his salary, and he buys from me. So sometimes you also have to think in your product mix, is there products that you can make for 100 people that will sell your product and you supply to them? And is there products that I can sell directly to my consumers, right? Because ultimately where we want to get to is where Nike is. Does Nike ever, well, recently they've had stores, right? Recently they've had stores, but they've always sold through other networks. So think about that too, in your product mix. And I think with that, I've overstayed my welcome.
Yeah. I think at this particular moment in time, any questions? Okay, the gent here, the lady there. Any more? 1, 2 questions? 3, cool. 4, cool. 5, perfect. So.
Hello, buddy.
Hello, sir.
Oh, my question is that it has been said that fish grows according to the size of its environment. Shark in the ocean can grow 10 times than the one that is inside the container.
Yeah.
So my question is that what if the slow moving of our product is causing by, it has been caused by our township or our environment or our locations where we have been located? Thank you.
Like I've already forgotten, so can I answer? This is that 17 when you carry it forever. So, by the way, you will only remember 5% of whatever has been said today, Monday. So, make notes, right? Fortunately, we also have technology, so you can go record and play, right? But just know that when you engage with your customer for 7 minutes, they will only remember 24 seconds. Okay? Make a mental note. So that's a very interesting thing for us, right? Is there's something called blue ocean and red ocean. Have everyone heard about it? So who has walked down Johannesburg and then all you see is the cell phone repair shops, right? You pass one shop, there's a cell phone repair shop. Another one, there's a cell phone repair shop. There's, you know, it's called red ocean when everyone is doing the same thing, right? Everyone is doing the same thing. And so what we want to do is look different, is the blue ocean, right? So there's another guy that what he does, instead of fixing phones and selling phones, yeah, he beautifies the phones. He's in the same lane, but he doesn't fix phones. He's in the red ocean, but he stands up different. So he's that whale that grows where there's other whales because he provides something unique, right? So that's the one thing. Everyone here is on Facebook. Have we seen Mark Zuckerberg? Have we seen him? Did he come to any of our townships? Right? So technology enables us to be everywhere. Who makes you think that someone in Shanghai is not interested in your app where they can put down exactly how they want to have this experience in their death? What makes you think that you can't sell from here into Shanghai? Yes, and that's why, do you have a business advisor? Do you have a business advisor? You have a mentor, right? Have your mentor gone out and sell something outside of South Africa? So what do you need to find? And a mentor that has gone and sold something outside of a township, right? Do you get that? Okay. I hope it.
Thank you very much. Again, my name is Lerato. Mine, it's not really a question, but it's something that is related to the topic of today. So, I want you to give us a take on and your advice on the product. Basically, on the distribution, let me say that. There is a lot of brand that distribute and then using their own brand. They call it private labeling. So I want you to advise us on private labeling. It's private labeling not to kill the creativity on our people, because now I find a final product that is there. There is a lot of jeans that are running around the country. They just only need your logo or your brand. You just register only a brand and they manufacture everything for you. So basically, we don't create anything. So I want your take on private labeling, and if it's not going to kill the creativity, because now we are not creating, but we are reselling using our own names. Thank you.
You want to answer that? This is Tiro. He'll be in trouble.
Afternoon, still morning everyone. My name is Tiro, and I'm a business advisor. So the person that he's talking about is someone like me who will try and advise you in the right direction of your business. And just for the people here, so that you kind of know the person that is in front of you, more fire, the person that's there, the table. I ran that for SBU for a period of 2 years when it started. And the challenges that you are all facing, I faced every day, trying to get it into the shops, trying to build relationships, trying to sort out logistics, the marketing, all of that I was dealing with on a day-to-day basis. And overcoming those things had a lot to do with what was said earlier with regards to business advisor and mentors. And so you have to have a broad range of people around you who will put you into different spaces. I'm going to give another practical example about your question. Drip that everybody is wearing today, and you guys have seen the success of Yalikau. I was one of the first people that sold drip in 2018. I had a store in Sandton that was selling only local brands at the Gautrain station. So from the jeans that you're talking about, the wines, clothing, this jacket that I'm wearing is from the store. This t-shirt as well. So when Lekau started, he obviously did not have the infrastructure, or even Batu when they started. You don't have that money. That is the reality of us, especially township entrepreneurs. You don't have the distillery to distill your own gin. But what do? You create a brand. Once you've created a brand, and that brand catches on in the market, it then gives you the money to be able to then go and be creative. If you remember with Drip, for example, they only had a few colors. I remember he had a pink shoe a pink Drip, and only those were in stock at some point because someone else was manufacturing the product for him. If you take that now, where they are now in control of it, through having built a brand. So you can build a brand, and even a lot of brands that you see, let's say at Pick and Pay, you might find that they are made by one company. So for example, Morfire, there's a company called Entle Beverages out in Heidelberg. It manufactures Morfire and a host of other energy drinks and a host of other juice brands, and because it just doesn't make sense for you, especially in the beginning, to have that infrastructure. So that is not killing creativity, but it's an enabler. It enables you to then differentiate yourself in the market, and then the market responds positively to what you are selling. Then you will make the money to be able to create and build your own factory so that you can then be more creative and not, I was speaking to someone yesterday. So I have a liquor distribution company that distributes the gins, only black-owned gins, wines, you name it, anything in the alcohol industry. And this guy has created a tonic water called Dash and More. And it's being manufactured at the same place where Morfire is being manufactured. But the discussion we were having with him, he came to see me, was around he wanted to manufacture his own at his own plant, because at Entle Beverages, they don't allow him to manufacture in smaller cans. So the can is 330, which is out of sync with what people expect from a tonic, because the market has been told that the tonic can should be this size. So it's making his life difficult in terms of selling them, because then the price is higher than the regular drinks. But for now, the advice is because he's building the brand, he's using that facility to be able to build the brand. So it doesn't kill creativity. To answer you shortly, we must use the resources that are available to us to create those brands. Because once you have the brand gone, you can do whatever with that brand. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
I think we we don't want you to go home tomorrow. Church is tomorrow, and you still have to make chickens. What's the creative mobile or computer brand in your minds? Apple? They don't manufacture a single thing. All they focus on is their customer experience and maintaining their customer. But they don't make their phones. They don't make their laptops. They design it, and that's where you keep the IP control. That's where the creative control is. So, but that goes back to when you have your product and your product mix, it's got to be linked to your business model. Do you outsource or do you manufacture? Right?
So what I'm going to ask, time. So Hilton is going nowhere. I want to give this lady the opportunity to ask. You can ask him anything for the next 2 hours. So if I even missed anyone else who put their hand up, he's going nowhere. I'm committing to his time and calendar. You know, because we've got a couple of more activities. I'm not being rude, right? I'm sorry. Please ask your question. I'm sorry for being rude. Just time.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tepo. My question goes out, how do I find a mentor? I find it very challenging to approach, especially people like I own a beauty spa. I would approach someone who owns a beauty spa and I'd be like, please give me advice. And now it comes across as if I'm competition. Also, you might ask, where do you get your supplies from, or who are your suppliers? Then they tell you, no, you'll have to pay me in order to give you that information. Where do I position myself in order to be able to find someone who's going to mentor me in the right direction without coming across as competition to them?
Reverse psychology. Do you know how cool your hair look?
Thank you, I don't know.
Right?
Okay.
Did you see how, like your whole makeup thing is like you stand out? Did you see that?
I hope so.
Where do I go for that?
To me, you come to me.
Right. So, you go to that other boutique and you say, damn it, this is a freaking nice store. Like, yo, look at that. How did you screw that in? And they'll tell you, no, man, I didn't do it, that guy did it. Right? So, every time I walk past the store, I see people are like organized there and there. It's amazing. Like, wow, you're so successful. How do you get this right? What do they do?
You need to pay them. Some people ask you to pay.
Right? Yeah. So you say, I found this place, right? And I buy my shampoo for 5 rand. It used to be 10 rand there. They go on special on Sundays before the preacher preach, right? What did you do for that person that you're looking for? You gave them something. What will they do?
Yeah, they'll return the favor.
Right. So don't ask. Right? Give. Those that give, get back. So be strategic in that. Okay? So I know English is English. My language is now an official language. So 12 languages in South Africa. It's called Afrikaans. All right, so we agreed and we say awe, massacant. There's all kinds of other words that we also shared with you guys. So just change the way that you engage with a mentor and start off by giving, because what is a mentor going to do? They're going to give to you. You have an expectation that they give. So operate the way that they do. Do in Rome, what the Romans do. I hope that was, I've learned a lot today. Thank you.
I know I missed the gent and the lady. May I allow him to engage you? Because time, I'm sorry. Thank you, guys. So Sbu will just take over now. We are done. Round of applause for this young man. Thank you.